Right, we're on 15th of May today, so it's been a few days now since I've done this in, probably, 10, 11 days, something like that, since I potted these tomatoes on. As you can see, they're romping away, flowers are on them. I wanted to actually have them in the beds by now, but I've got a gig coming up this weekend, so I'm going to do it probably Sunday and Monday, and then they'll go in the bed, so I need to shift everything else out of here. Probably, well, on the day that I do it anyway, because this shelf will come out, which will become me onion drying rack for those who've followed each year. So they're all doing all right in these twin pot methods. The only thing I have found is that the compost, if you let it dry out on top, it's a nightmare to get to sort of rehumidify. So I made some like little plastic cutout discs to put on top of these, but I took them off this morning just to give them the sort of watering from the top, sort of like a little bit every sort of 10 or 15 minutes to try and get it to, you know, get moist all the way through. So this will be probably their final water, you know, to help, you know, populate, get plenty of roots and that. So started to see roots at the bottom of the pot, not as many, but you know, give it a few days and there should be enough. As long as they hold on to the compost when I lift them out, they're good to go in the beds then. As you can see down there's loads of stuff I've got to move out, which will go in the greenhouse down the bottom. So I'll turn the camera around, we'll have a quick look around at everything else, because it's time to start picking the lettuce. Those three there are the Roma, which I'm going to keep in pots this year. Where I'm going to put them, I don't know, possibly doorstep, which is south facing, the front doorstep, maybe one floating around in the garden. Or just move them around in and out the polytunnel in the middle. Just keep them relatively short, because they are a bit of a determinate thing, so they won't get very tall. They don't tend to when I've had them in the polytunnel. They get sort of like about 4 foot high and then sort of don't really get much higher than that, so I thought it's pointless having them in here when I've got, you know, 6 foot height of growing space for the, obviously the taller ones, you know, because this money maker, it's my own safe seed, it's very, very upright, but starting to get flowers on. So this watering I gave them this morning had a bit of feed in it, just a bit of bog standard granular tomato feed and a little bit of liquid seaweed as well. Really weak mix, you know, because a lot of these bottom leaves, they're starting to sort of go a weird colour now, so eventually I'll probably get rid of these in a couple of weeks once they've had a chance to root in, and then obviously the rest will just keep going up. So as the fruit truss becomes ripe, you can kind of get rid of most of the foliage below that. I've had some sowing problems as well, because all the French beans that I sowed, dwarf French beans, failed, every single one of them. Most of the sweet corn failed, bar 2, so I've had to re-sow. Different seed supply, you know, the original lot were DT Browns, last year's seed, but they were still in date, all sealed up. And I bought these seeds last year, but I didn't open the packet, and out of what have I got there for the 21, I'm just waiting for one to pop up, you know. So it does set you back a bit, but never mind, we shall crack on. So we've got all my peppers up here. If you're wondering what these are, it's obviously when you get belting sunshine down here, these pots can get quite hot, so it's just to keep a bit of heat off these pots. These are all the giant bell pepper, my own saved seed. And we've got the basket of fire, which is again my own saved seed. This is another chilli. I've sown some chives, garlic chives and everything else. These are flowers, I'm not sure what they are. They're either petunias or lobelia, saved seed. I can't remember. I'll have to just see what happens with them. These are courgettes. Again, I had some problems with some courgette seeds, so I had to re-sow some of them. That's a tomato plant from a shop tomato. By the way, it looks like it's growing. It's not going to be, I've done the variety, something like sugar salad or something like that. It said on the packet, well, actually on the tray of tomatoes. But just the way it grows, it's kind of looking like it might be sort of like a little bit of a determinate type thing. It's not got a good strong growing tip, so I might actually leave that to be a little bush and just see what it does. And we've got over here, we've got the tweed, which is the swede. Where all this is going to end up yet, I don't know. I'm just kind of over sowing to give me options, so if a gap comes available and I've got some ready to pop in, then great. Sprouts, don't know where they're going to go yet. Just having some ideas on that. And then we've got a little bit of a coriander at the back there. There's some sage there. There's some more courgettes and cucumbers. Question mark there, but I think that's a cucumber. My own fault with not doing labels properly. These were sown ages ago, these sage. Well, these are tomatoes. The only thing it does seem to sprout everywhere in my own compost is tomatoes. Spring onions, 2 lots. They kind of caught up, some I chitted and some I didn't. They kind of caught up to each other, so they'll be going out in about another week. These are just leftover swede. Some more little gems at the back there I need to prick out soon. Some more beetroot. These are the cayenne peppers. They did produce like a small pepper at the top here, which I've sort of nipped off. I don't want any fruit yet setting. These are jalapenos. I think these are melons, and I've got some of the Cobra French beans. I did sow some direct, but if they're not coming up in a week, I'll put these in. I'm only growing 8, which we'll have a look at the frame in a minute. Down below here we've got leeks. These were all sprouted or chitted on some kitchen roll. These, so it saved me thinning them out. I've kind of spaced them out quite a bit in there. Don't know how many there is, probably about 20 or 30. Some basil, a little bit of thyme's the older seed, but I'll try and remember to prick that out soon. Leftover celery. These are all leftover lettuce. I've been picking from them and giving Kane the odd bit to keep them small, but these are backups. I've lost 2 lettuce so far. I've lost a Grenoble red and a little gem, just stem rot. So luckily I had some to replace. They're left over from the allotment when I planted everything out there. So I've got some, obviously the I think it's golden acre and some cauliflower and broccoli over there, but they'll just get thrown away then, because I've nowhere for them, to be honest. I've used some in a little bit of thing I'm testing out just for a bit of a laugh, which we'll have a look at when we go down garden. Right, so we'll go down bottom end first. So I've planted some more potatoes. These are just 12 litre tubs. They've got 1 orla in each one of them. Mainly growing them for seed potato, to be honest, but also just to see what I can get out of a 12 litre pot. Compost mix is it's some topsoil, some spent compost and some of my own compost. No feed at all in it. Oh, and some sand from the carrot box that I cored out, which had compost and sand mix, some of that in. It's probably like a quarter sandy sort of mix. It's quite sandy and it's quite heavy, especially when it's waterlogged like that, because we had absolute downpours last few days. They're I think they're jazzies, all these little polypots. Strawberries are doing well this year. I mulched around. I'm having to keep picking mare's tail. Actually, underneath this wood chip, I've used wood chip instead of straw this year, because Scrivens obviously gave me a load of bags to sort of do a demo on and try out. So I'll put links in the description for Scrivens, because they were massive support last year. You know, and helped me out a hell of a lot, and you know, and supplied me with quite a bit of stuff. But yeah, mare's tail's been a nightmare. But underneath that, there's cardboard, so it's still pushed its way through. So I've just been like picking mare's tail out and throwing it on here to dry out, and then I'll just put it in some water and rot it down in water. Once it's turned to sludge, you can stick it in a compost heap then. So what I've done with these are these old cheapy strawberry things you can buy. I think they're about 3.5, 4 litre pots, but they're a stacking one. So instead of stacking them, they're just sort of like thrown in the corner of the garden, just collecting rubbish and junk really. So I thought, well, I'll fill them up, and I've got 3 broccoli and 3 collie. Own compost, not sieved or anything. These are all the tomatoes that are going about. I just pull them out and just leave them on top, let them dry out. And it's sort of like, I suppose it's nature's way, stuff rots down on top of soil and that's it. I just got to watch for butterflies and stuff, because I've seen them around. Cauliflower, it's just to see what I can get, you know. I mean, if you can get some broccoli heads in a small space like that, if you've not got a garden or anything, get yourself a couple of these. I think they're about £5 or something like that. Some compost, and just keep an eye on the bugs and that, and you can do yourself some stuff. See the old lilies. These are just some old lilies, but lily beetles are a nightmare. Just give them a squish, because I can't stand them. No stink bugs as yet. Some mint's romping away. Slugs have been loving that. Some rosemary that I've put in a pot. I mean, well, I grew it last year, but it's just been sort of like sat in a pot over wintering. The strawberries are doing well this year. Same as that, mulched. Varieties I can't remember, I think they're called Hippi or Hypi or some of them ones. I think they're Florence or Vibrant, them ones. I can never remember, I've had them for years. These are just the Alpine strawberries that I grew from seed last year. They could do with going in bigger pots really, or in the ground somewhere, so I might actually move them to a plotting fruit cage at some point. I used to do strawberries really well up at the allotment, but just struggled for the last few, well, 5-6 years anyway. This was an old parsley plant that's kind of it shot a seed spike, so I cut the seed spike off, and it'll produce, you know, more foliage because it just wants to put a seed spike out. So as long as it's producing some bits of parsley, that's fine. It's all rocket. Leggiest carrots in the world. I forgot to take the cover off, and they might be all right. I tend to find carrots seem to pull themselves in. So we'll have a look down here. Finally, Kane's out, son's out. He's been out doing his mowing, chomping away. So he's glad to be out. So yeah, he's 17 this year. So he's getting on now. He's quite young in tortoise years, but yeah, African sulcata. That's what he is. He's on his way over because he thinks I've got some, but I haven't. So some of you saw, found me some jackdaws on this. This is a thing I've had for a few years since when I had Jack. For those who remember, I had a jackdaw back in 2020. I sort of ham-reared up. So the colony's kind of grown. So they usually start chirping about, which means come out and give us some food. So I just give them a bit of like, cat food and some nuts and things like that. Because they've got obviously chicks in the nest now, so they're coming down regular bit of food. Nothing much going on here. Strawberries again. These are some sort of gigantic strawberry thing in a grow bag. They've been key supply last year. I've sort of fed them up, and yeah, they're going all right. I have not spotted the odd vine weevil in there, so I need to just keep an eye on things, keep clearing out the lower foliage as it's going a bit manky. They were, I can't remember the original strain of these, but these were from my old allotment. I've just had the odd plant knocking around, but these are coming out in abundance this year. But all I did with these, I just cleaned them up and then put some bloodfish and bone meal, another inch of compost on, and then mulched them with straw, and they've come like that. I pruned my gooseberries down the back there because they really need to go to the plot. I've had them for donkey's years. Up to the top end. So the lettuce, probably last week I went in and I cleared some of the lower leaves, the original leaves off, any yellowing or anything like that. So I need to obviously, ideal opportunity when I've got the net up to do a bit of weeding if I've got time. If not, they're not horrendous. Some radishes, it's going to get tight if it comes to anything, that radish, but it's not got long to go, another week. I have to start picking some lower cabbage leaves out of the way, then so be it. The Primo 2. Rocket's rocketing away, it's not gone to seed yet. I've had a picking off that already actually, so that's ready for another pick. And then we've got the mazure, and then I've actually put the celery in. So I need to get that mazure, keep it kind of no bigger than that sort of size, just to allow the celery to get up. And greens at the back there, probably start taking some of them next week. Had a bit of a tidy in here. Just got a parrot plant down there. I've grown them for years. I've got a load of windowsill and kitchen. I just cut a branch off, stick it in water and root it, and then grow a few year after that. These are old overwinter chilies that never did anything. So it's all ready to sort of like put me chilli plants on and things like that. I need to free the polytunnel up. Raspberries are doing okay. I need to sort some sort of frame out for them, just like a frame each side, like a T-frame with a couple of ropes down each side to keep them upright. The variety is polka. It's supposed to be self-supporting, but just if it gets hammered by wind, just helps it out a bit. But no slug damage, which is great, because I've been out picking slugs. I mean, I've had probably the last 4 nights I've been coming out and getting slugs, and I reckon, actually, I've been putting them in a bag and getting rid of them that way, but I reckon I've had in excess of about 3.5 pound in slug weight, just pure slugs. And getting rid of them, and it's less to lay eggs. You'll never keep up with them, they'll keep coming back. Had some peas that I'd sort of had in modular trays. I just bung them in there and knocked this bit of a frame up. Some bits of fishing line here for him to help climb. If they come to anything, we'll see. Slugs have been knobbling them down that end. Dukey York potatoes, first earlies are coming through. Obviously spring onions. So I might put that, I've got beetroot, I might put like beetroot in there as well. It's just pointless staring at blank soil or having to weed it. I think, well, if I've got something that I can eat in there, it'll cause the canopy and block the weed out. This is like loads of tomatoes that are growing in here. This is my own compost, just thrown on the top about 2 weeks ago, so I need to go in there and just hand weed that. don't know what I'm putting in there yet. It's part of an idea. I might put leeks in there, and if I can keep my Brussels sprouts long enough, I might actually put my Brussels sprouts in that bed and make like a tall, narrow net frame, possibly. Little gems, doing all right. I did some a few years ago called Valen. I can't get the seeds anymore, but they were more upright than these. I mean, they're just like a winter gem, really, but I mean, yeah, these are quite big, so I need to start taking them soon. These are mainly for cane, but you can see the one that I lost, so luckily I had a backup, so it'll catch up. The big carrots, I had a nightmare trying to get these to germinate, and then you get them like 4 or 5 weeks old, and then you get a slug come along and dispatch it. You know, so it's annoying. That was like 1st of April that was sown. And then obviously we had a lot of heat which dries them out, so I've been sort of re-sowing and putting a piece of card over to keep it covered until they sprout, and then take the card off. Otherwise the compost just dries out and the seed sort of misfires. I think they have a new red intermediate, them carrots, and we've got a sweet candle over here. Same again, you know, had a few that have been nobbled off. Slugs and snails, you know, I don't know where the cars, so I put a few pellets down. I know some people don't like pellets, but I can't keep losing it, otherwise it's just pointless doing. You can put copper tape, but it's expensive, you've got to keep it clean. So I might, next year, I've got some old bits of copper pipe, I used to be a plumber like, so I might put some old bits of copper pipe offcuts around the top and see what happens there. But yeah, there's a sweet candle. So that's it for up the top end of the garden. So I'll go and get me the bits and bobs, and I'll start picking a bit of lettuce, and we'll probably have a look at the crop at the end of the day, because I've got someone coming around. I've got an appointment soon, so I'll do what I can while I can, and then fingers crossed if the weather's all right, because there's a few big old, you can see there's a few big old clouds working over there. So we'll just have to see. Hopefully get everything picked today, and I can change my diet to something a bit more healthy. Right, we'll crack. I've been and got a bucket and give it a clean out. So I've got a clean bucket for lettuce, and I've got an old tray here because I've no buckets at the moment free. Just for putting bits of weeds in as I go. So I'll just lift this net up. Some of you, have left some really good comments on a video I did a few years ago about how I make these net hoops. I probably will do another one on this sort of size of hoop, which is obviously not as high as a Brussels sprout one, but a lot of people tend to say, like, how do you get in it? It's pretty straightforward, really. I mean, I have a peg at each end of the bed. Sometimes you have to pull one out, and obviously on this I have a couple down each side, but you just basically, you can do one side if you want, rather than to put both sides up. Go along. I've got one down there. The trick is to make your net as tight as possible to the bed, because it just makes it harder for slugs and snails to get in. You'll not stop them completely. So far I seem to have. You just lift it up. As long as one of the ends is free, that gives it enough slack. I just roll it to the middle, like so. I get this end, which I've unpegged, bring that to the middle. I just get this excess bit, take it under, back through, just poke the peg under like that, and that's good enough for me, that. And you've got full access. But if you've got brassicas in, just be careful if you turn your back and go in and have a cup of tea, that cabbage whites might come in and lay a load of eggs everywhere. So just be wary of that as you go along. Alright, so I'm not going to film all this because it'd be boring watching me pick all this lettuce, because it's kind of going to be every sort of 7 to 10 days I've got to do this now until the plants decide to give up, depending on how stressed this gets through its season. But I've had them before go for absolute loads of pickings, just keep picking till they give up, really. But it's pretty much all the lower leaves. I tend to not like doing it when it's too wet, because all the mud sticks to it, and you just pick the lower leaves off like so. Don't be frightened of like picking plenty off. But there used to be an old rule of like, a certain amount, but as long as you don't take that middle bit away, it'll It'll soon recover. Don't worry, because the leaves will droop out a little bit, you know, because they haven't got that sort of thing holding them together in the middle. But I'd quite happily leave that like that. You know, there's pretty much, there's about 4 leaves left on that, but I've got that off one lettuce. So these are Grenoble Red, Lola Rossa and New Red Fire. So just go through and do that with them all, really. It's kind of like a downward twist motion to pick it. And as you do it, you know, after the first couple of pickings, it gets a bit easier because they get a bit higher off the ground, so they're a lot cleaner. I mean, you can go along and pinch off that bit of stem if you don't want, but until you've got like absolutely loads of it, I don't bother. It's just it's something you don't do. Well, I don't tend to do through the winter months unless I've got some going, but once you get the knack back again, you're not so bad. But the thing is with lettuce is once you pick it, you need to get it in water to sort of seal it up and, you know, to wash it as well. I mean, I'll show you how I wash it all anyway after. So I'll pick that one a bit smaller. It's fine, you know, because that way I can pick these and I can weed them then. Yeah, but it is sort of semi-time consuming. I mean, that leaves a bit naff, so I'll get rid of that one. You know, and also if you get these lettuces that get aphids on, they tend to always go for the lower leaf aphids, so it gives you that opportunity to just sort of examine things, see how they go. Right, so I'll get on with doing this, and then we'll have a look at what I managed to get out of it all. Which I think I need to clean the fridge out and get it all ready. It's going to be a bit... I'll just show you quickly how I wash this stuff. So I've just picked the Grenoble Red, so I've got a bucket full out of a few plants, which is a fair bit. So obviously I've got the New Red Fire and the Lola Rossa and the other stuff to do yet, so I will mix them all together, possibly leave them as separate because I tend to give that cane a lot. So it's just basically like a quick wash, this really. You know, sometimes I'll probably leave them in there for a couple of minutes just to actually soak. It's just a case of like just carefully what you'll find is a lot of anything like organic bits of material will float. You know, as will some bugs, so it's just a case of push it down. I've got a little sieve here. Just scoop some of anything that's floating. If you leave it to soak, anything that's soil based will soak up some water and sink. So you're going to get some bits of dirt on it, but a bit of dirt never hurt. You can sort of look at any leaves that look a bit bad and you can pull them out. Put that there. So then I can see at the bottom of this there's a bit of sediment that's dropped off it to the bottom, which is fine. You know, you can give it another wash before you eat it. I sometimes do, I sometimes don't. I mean, as long as this is all clean, you know, it's all cleaned and sterilised, you know, a bit of disinfectant and everything beforehand. Never done me any harm yet. Plenty of times when I was a kid, it was kind of like pick something straight out of the ground, rub it on hairs on your arms and just stuff it in your gob. Right, so obviously you can lift it out and leave it to drip dry. We have these little things, these sort of lettuce spinners. So I'll leave that a couple of minutes just to actually soak in there, I think, before I do it, just make sure it's sealed. Right, I've had a bit of another whirl around and give it another scoop out of the sieve. Just like little lettuce spinner things. They're alright, but as you can imagine, to do that amount, it take a while, you know. You put a few leaves in there. I mean, if you've got an helper, it'll help you do it, then great. One could be picking, one could be whirling round and whatnot, but we don't all have that luxury. Basically give it a bit of a whirling round, and then obviously you get some water still on your lettuce, and then it's the rest off. That'll take me ages to do that way, so I have my own way of doing it, which I'll turn the camera on because I need to make some space for doing this. I shall show you. Oh, also, if you can get your hands on some of these, like supermarket big trays, they're great, especially ones with holes in the bottom. You know, because you can stack them out of the sun, just let them drip dry for a bit. If you put them in the sun, they'll just wilt. Make sure they're clean as well. Right, so I've got it's actually a fishing net. It's never been used for fishing. It's just a replacement. I never needed it, so I come across it one day. I thought, oh, I've got a use for that. So I think it's about a 50-inch net, but you can find fishing tackle shops. But any net, onion sacks will probably do anything like that. Just find somewhere to hook it all, really, because it can get a little bit. I could do with making getting a big bin here for this, you know, so I can drop it in. I just have to work with what I've got and then just drop it in the net. You know, just constantly looking at what you're doing in case you come across any bad leaves or any accidental weeds you've picked and dropped in there. Try and keep the actual net out of the water as much as I can. It doesn't bruise the leaves. They're perfectly fine. Shake some of the excess off. Warning though, if you overfill it, it can, you know, you might hurt yourself doing it. But just, I might have enough room to do it here. I don't know. We'll see. Probably not. I'll hit the roof, so I'll turn the camera around and basically give yourself some decent space. Get your net and just start slowly, spin it around. You'll get a bit wet, obviously, doing it as it trickles over your head, and just gradually build your speed up so you get comfortable speed. Just once the momentum starts, it'll speed itself up. That's a cheap lettuce spinner doing that way. And then just simply pour it all in whatever you're gathering, and you can leave it in the net and peg the net up. Just let any excess drip out. The leaves will absorb a little bit as well, you see. And then I'll put it in some bags, zip seal bags. Not pack it in too tightly. And then pop it in the fridge. It'll keep fine for 2.5, 3 weeks. So that's just one variety of lettuce I've got to pick, so I'll get on with the other ones and then we'll have a look at it when it's all picked. Right, that's all the lettuce picked for this week, so net's back over. You can see they're all a bit small. I've weeded the bulk of it. I probably missed a few bits. It's predominantly little blades of grass that are coming through. So I'll just come out later on and make sure the net's doubly secured down before night comes, because that's obviously when the slugs are going to come out. But yeah, no real pest issues as far as I can see. Plenty of little spiders, a few little aphids knocking around, but spiders should polish them up with a bit of luck. So I've not done the rocket or the Mizio. I don't need to video all that really. It's pretty much the same. Just pick away and wash it. So yeah, so they're all picked. We'll have a look at all that. I've mixed it all together now. I just need to start bagging it. Kane's enjoying grazing out here. It's a long time for him to be stuck inside through the winter, but it's too cold in the UK for him to be out in the winter, so he's been out for a couple of weeks. He's sort of been out doing a bit. You can see obviously where he's been grazing here, and it's longer there, so he needs to get his backside down that end and start cutting the grass down there. So he's not doing it very even, but I do need to treat this grass this year because it's got a creeping buttercup everywhere, so I'll have to do that at the end of the year. So we'll have a look at this lettuce down there. I was going to say this beam frame. So these are just some, I think, 20mm coated aluminium or coated steel poles. Bought them online. I've got some of the smaller 11mm poles up the top there just to brace it. I thought better than canes, you know, and because obviously some subscribers have been, you know, massive help donating to the channel, so it enables me to buy these things and actually try them out, you know, because canes are good. They're obviously cheaper than these, but they don't last very long, and trying to get a nice straight quality cane's tricky, you know. So I thought I'll try these, and you know, this should, I've not got any side struts on it, so I'll just see how the wind is. If need be, I can always put like a guy rope across from each fence, you know, to stable it up. But other than that, it should last indefinitely, really, you know. So I think long term it's a lot cheaper than canes. So for all those who've donated to the channel, massive thank you. It all comes in use, it all goes back into this channel. So that's it, this week's fodder picking. So like I say, another 7 to 10 days they'll be the same again. Obviously I've got the mesure to add to this, which probably, you know, it's kind of worked out. I've had about a bucket full from each of the 3 varieties, so they're kind of equal. Sometimes you get some lettuce and it's a little bit lagging behind. The mesure takes a little bit longer to harvest because it's more of a fine spiky sort of leaf, but I enjoy it. Mrs. ain't too keen on it, but it's going to get mixed, a little bit mixed in with this, and then some separated for Kane to eat, because he can have that along with his greens and his little cos lettuce. Well, we'll finish on this little look at the sweet peas. They're doing all right, and that there, from me saying into a video or 2 ago about a fruit cage from the plot, that's it. That's the fruit cage all collapsed down. I've had to find a couple of fittings online to buy to make it so it's usable again. I've got to get some netting for it. I've got the roof netting, but a lot of the side netting was ripped and damaged, so trying to get them ground spikes out was a nightmare. So it was a job I didn't intend on doing, but I'm glad I've got it, because it means I can have a good durable fruit cage. I just need to work out when I'm going to put it up, which will be when my blueberries are finished at the plot. So speaking of the plot, went down the other day, patched a few onions that have been sort of nobbled out. I think I had to sort of plant about 22, something like that, over the whole 200 and whatever it was, 280 something, I think. So hopefully they'll get left alone now. Brassicas looked okay. It does need a bit of a hoeing, trying to air that soil up on the top, because it's going that green colour. Spuds are all held up. There's still like an empty bed and part of a bed that's empty. So there's a bit of work to do down there, and obviously my paths are like, you know, dried out now. But it's all like craters in it from walking about in the slop, so I need to go down there and have a day down there, just tidying things, and on a bit of a head scratch and working things out for obviously later in the season. But yeah, fruit cage will go down there. Probably I'll wait for my blueberries to finish fruiting, and I'll harvest them, and then that's when I'll do the cage. It just seems pointless banging them about or it's damaging them while they're in flower now, you see. So I might as well just wait till the summer months, and when things are under control and I've got a little bit of time, maybe, because it's tricky, because I've got a gig, you know, this weekend. Well, the next 5 Saturdays I've got a gig, so I need to rest after that. So massive thank you for you to, you know, for following the channel for this long. So if you like what you see, new to the channel, click subscribe, share, you know, share it out and let people know, and obviously the notification bell. So thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.